The federal government is reportedly planning to introduce a supplementary budget following the suspension of subsidy removal on petroleum products by the National Economic Council, NEC. The suspension was made in response to widespread protests against the removal of subsidies on fuel and electricity tariffs. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has directed the Ministry of Finance to work on the supplementary budget to accommodate the changes resulting from the suspension. This decision was reached at a meeting of the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday. It is worth noting that the suspension of subsidy removal was not actually a unanimous decision by the NEC. Some members of the Council opposed the decision, arguing that the subsidy regime was unsustainable and that the funds saved from subsidy removal could be better used to finance infrastructure and social development projects. However, the majority of the Council believed that the timing was not right for such a move, given the current economic challenges facing the country. The suspension of subsidy removal has brought some relief to the masses who have been grappling with the high cost of living resulting from the hike in fuel and electricity prices. Also, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has declared as baseless the alleged illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil export in 2015 to China, currently being probed by a House of Representatives ad hoc committee. Malami made this disclosure in Abuja while appearing before the House ad hoc committee on investigating the alleged loss of over $2.4 billion in crude oil revenue from exports since 2014 till date, while acknowledging that his office received a letter from the whistleblower to that effect. He said there was no detailed information on the alleged deal by the whistleblower, hence no further investigation was carried out by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. Let's have a look at the excerpts.
You repeated severally that all the recoveries, even the ones you made by yourself, were deposited in asset recovery accounts. Because we are assuming on this part, before we conclude, we still want a guide from you, that part of what is causing the misinformation is because maybe the process or the procedure, we have been contravening them.
If you have, for example, a revenue being maintained dedicated to asset recovery for the purpose of transparency and accountability of it, at the end of the day, the monies that goes into the asset recovery account find its way to which account? To the account being referred to under section 162, which indeed the Federation, the allegation is unfounded, is lacking in merit, and indeed lacking in substance. It is in its own right, the allegation, devoid of any reasonable ground pointing to a material suspicion and cogent enough to invoke the constitutional oversight of the committee. Why do I say so? Mr. Chairman, sometimes in 2016, allegations were rife and hyped in the social media. There were allegations of existence of stolen 48 million barrels of Nigerian crude oil in China, said to have been valued at 2.4 billion. The President Muhammadu Buhari, informally requested the Attorney General, making reference to my humble person, Mele Kyari, former DGSS Lawal Daura, and late Abba Kyari, to look into it and advise. But unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, for there to be a reasonable ground for suspicion, at least you require certain basic facts.
Hello viewers, welcome to Daily Politics. I am Hamza Idris. Tonight on the program we are joined by Baba Yusuf. He's an expert, a strategist, policy analyst and the CEO of Global Investment and Trade Company. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Hamza.
And our subject of discussion, of course, is the back and forth around fuel subsidy removal and crude oil theft. Once again, welcome. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Yes, Baba Yusuf, how did you receive the decision by the National Economic Council to suspend the planned subsidy removal?
I'm not surprised, Hamza. People that have been following some of my conversations in the media and articles, some of us have said before now that the action of the federal government, even though well-intentioned with regards to the removal of subsidy, is without any properly thought out and frameworked overarching strategy. Removal of subsidy is a very, very big issue and big deal. And one would have expected over the years since 2015, to have worked out a roadmap, a strategy and roadmap to achieve this very critical objective. Because indeed, if we need to move forward in this country, I am one of those that believe the subsidy should be removed. It is a gaping hole, a slush fund, throughput for some corrupt cartel. We need to do away with it. But the hows and the whens are the critical success factors. And that lack of overarching strategy is what has led us to this
mess.
I don't know what to call it, the kind of dance to call it, is it a backsliding style or whatever?
Yes.
Kind of dance we are seeing, which actually leaves much to be desired.
At the twilight of an administration.
At the twilight of an administration, now 30 to 31 days to the swearing in of the incoming president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You see this acrobatic dance, yes, that is it, being done at the Executive Council level to say, okay, they are cancelling or suspending the removal of subsidy.
Yes.
Of course, if for over 7 years, this administration was not able to be sure-footed with regards to that, based on whatever reasons they have, then it is only logical right from the beginning of this year, even build up to the budget, to make adequate provisions in the 2023 budget to cater for the subsidy, to allow the next dispensation, the incoming president,
instead of saying it will lapse by June.
To think through and work out, a strategic blueprint based on what I call the book of reality that the incoming president will open. Post May 29, 2023.
What is therein in that book of reality?
What are the real issues on the table for him?
And the
not
book
based
of
on projections or assumptions. And that will guide his thinking with his economic team to say this is the way he wants to chart the way forward, in fairness to the incoming president. But all these actions, for us, were not actions, they leave much to be desired because they are uncalled for. Plan for 2023 for the budget to carry the subsidy.
You're talking about the whole of 2023.
Yes, and allow the incoming president to deal with it, since this administration was not able to do it due to some certain reasons. I will believe they have their good reasons, but
Don't you think they were living in denial?
Well, whatever it may be.
From 2015, of course, before the President Buhari took over during his campaigns, he actually denied anything subsidy. He said,
absolutely.
what is subsidy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when he came in, of course, people expected that after opening the book, the proverbial book you mentioned,
I call, the book of reality.
When he saw it, he ought to have acted on that, maybe during his first tenure, but he did not. Some analysts said because it's actually a time bomb, maybe he wanted second tenure. Now he got the second tenure. Now, less than about 1 month to go and look at the back and forth about it. So who should we blame?
To be honest, political narratives, campaign promises are different from what I call the reality of governance. And that is where I refer to that book, calling it the book of reality, and that is the handover notes. document that will be handed over to an incoming president or to an incoming governor.
Yeah.
Those will carry, largely the facts. And then the reality check is what the incoming leader, president or governor, will now see through with his economic team or with his team, as the case may be, as what are the actual, what you call the situation analysis that will precipitate the real issues.
So maybe
and
they fed ignorance all these
So let's
years.
go back to 2015.
Yes.
Beyond the narratives, General Buhari came into government and opened the book of reality and saw something different from what he was seeing on the sidelines. Great. And based on that, move according to the realities. But then, notwithstanding, if the narrative or the position of the government is subsidy must go, one would have expected, like I said, a strategy to be formulated and to be followed through based on the depth of the political will of the president.
Yeah.
Of course, in fairness to this government, also, if we want to be fair, we have COVID-19 that came, the vagaries of COVID-19 impacted
But how
significantly.
long did COVID-19 last?
Notwithstanding, we cannot shy away from the fact that COVID impacted significantly globally and nationally. That being said,
But COVID
we
came
expected
in 2020.
Yes,
But that was
being
almost
said,
5 years.
Yes, that being
into the
said,
administration.
one would have expected a tweak in the strategy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm heading to.
Okay.
You have a strategy, you are moving, distortions come in due to things like force majeure, like a COVID-19. But one would have expected a rejig in the strategy. Whatever the case may be, at the twilight of administration, you don't rush, to what I call inadvertently create confusion.
To load over
and load
liabilities,
risks.
yeah.
Now, it is obvious that this cannot cut it by June. Don't forget, between May and June and July, some critical building blocks of the next administration will be put in place. The president will be sworn in. Governors will be sworn in. And then in June, the 10th Assembly will be sworn in. All right?
Yeah.
So you have a government that's coming and getting ready to go into the job of governance. And then boom, by June, the assumption is the subsidy will be removed. I mean, that is a booby trap. And I'm happy. Let me say this. I'm very happy that wisdom has prevailed and logic has prevailed finally. And they have decided not to remove the subsidy by June, because it is totally unfair, I've been saying it, on the incoming president for this decision to be taken, before they take office. I believe they should be allowed to come in, see what is on ground, and take decision in line with what will actually work for them. For example, if they come into government, Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been consistent that subsidy should be removed, and rightly so. However, like I said, the hows and the whens, he may decide how he's going to do it. Is he going to stagger the process? How is he going to do it? Including the $800 million, dollars palliative and all those things that have been, worked on by this government should be handed over to the incoming president to decide how he wants to proceed.
Okay, that is where the issue, the story of today, that the federal government is planning to now have, is it a environment or to another budget to now accommodate the gap? Because what they provided in the 2023 budget will lapse by June, right? End of May. Now they are going to have another budget. So my thinking is, because nobody is saying anything, what happens to the 800 million they got from the World Bank?
There is no clarity with regards to that. While I was reading the breaking news, on one of the dailies, which includes Daily Trust, I saw some conversations about preparation, for that, for the subsidy removal, which includes seeing how they can prepare this $800 million. I don't want to preempt, but what I will expect government to do in the interest of fairness, transparency, is to stand down all action. I've been saying this right from the time this was announced. Stay action on anything that has to do with this $800 million. Procurement of vehicles for civil servants.
They should keep the money
in the CBN. Giving this monies to the quote-unquote most vulnerable in the society should be pended and allow the incoming president to take the capital and the liabilities that he's going to inherit and decide how he wants to forge ahead, with his government moving forward and take responsibility for whatever. I would hope and pray. Now, announcement of removal of subsidy means they will not touch that $800 million as well. I hope so. Regarding supplementary budget, it is a consequence of this knee-jerk impulsive activities. We believe that issues of governance with due respect of such nature should be well thought out, and where there are critical decisions to be taken to also be done in a way and manner that they align and synchronize with the realities that are unfolding, that have been foreseen, and even those that are unforeseen. But in the last 3 months, the actions have not been so wonderful, and the outcomes are what we are seeing. Supplementary budget, we have numbers already we are grappling with. The incoming administration is not grappling. DG Debt Management Office is talking about projected 77 trillion naira budget, debt stock, and all that. So, but then, this is the price you pay for impulsive moves on things you need to think through. When you don't plan or you don't follow through the plan, the consequences are dire. Unfortunately, the impact is not going to be on the Federal Executive Council. The impact is going to be on the generality of Nigerians, short to long term. That is the unfortunate thing, because whether we like it or not, there will be ripple effect of this supplementary budget on the population, on the Nigerians. We are hearing, the project bazaar going on, all over the place.
That is it, because
you have a lot of contracts being signed off.
I wanted to ask you that why the rush at the tail end of an administration? Contracts being awarded. Of course, we brought some officials here asking them why, and they kept saying that government is a continuum. Whatever they award, it's not that they are going to implement it, it is going to be like setting the face for the incoming administration. Do you agree with that?
I totally disagree. Why do you set up inadvertently
and attempt to fix Nigeria in less than 30 days, right?
Why do you set up or attempt to set up inadvertently an incoming administration for a fall admin issue?
You think
where is the logic? Where is the vision?
Yeah.
Where is the logic? Where is the wisdom? Where is the vision, Hamza?
So it's a booby trap.
Bringing up about all these contracts. I'm not even calling them projects anymore.
Okay.
At the wee hour of this administration, and you say government is a continuum, to continue to create chaos, to continue to create confusion, or to create, no, let me remove the continuation, to create confusion for the incoming administration? Because what can you do in 30 days that you did not do in 7 years, 11 months, for example? And then again, let's even look at the
uncertainties that we don't know.
Let's also even look at the potential consequence of this. Now, these projects normally, from our own bystander understanding of how these things work, you go to the Federal Executive Council with a memo, you get approval. You come back internally and undergo a process of procurement. Right? And select, go by tender or whatever kind of tender procurement practices, you get the project, you get the contract awarded. And then you go through the legal framework, of ensuring that everything is done in a way and manner that Nigeria would not lose. And sign up a contract and get to mobilize where mobilization is applicable for people to come on board and execute this project. Don't forget that we are already grappling with debt. Where is the money? These monies that you are using for the contract, there's another angle of risk to it. Where will the monies will be gotten from to execute this multi-billion naira or dollar contracts? And you are doing this at the wee hour of the administration. Albeit, the incoming administration may have a totally different concept and view with regards to those same projects. Because if you look at this look at these contract elements, they are mostly transactional, not strategic. So why the hurry? What was not done in 7 years, 11 months, you want to do it now. And what is important for me is this. This is an APC government handing over to an APC government.
So no need for desperation.
I don't see any reason why there should be this level of desperation or hurry, because the expectation is, if it is a continuity, there should be confidence on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that they have campaigned for, that they believe in, as the person that should take mantle of leadership from General Buhari, that he will do the right thing and allow things to fizzle out while they close out open sessions of projects that they have already been executing and allow this gentleman to come and take over and do what he believes is right with his team.
Do you believe that some of these politicians, what they do is that even if it is on paper, to say that, okay, I'm going to build road A, just on paper and then approved by the Federal Executive Council, even if that road is done 20 years after, they lay credit to it. I'm citing an example with maybe Maiduguri, Damaturu, Kano Road. It was at the twilight of Obasanjo's administration that contract was signed. But you see people around him saying that this is our project, this is what we have done.
You know my concern?
Yeah.
That monies will be paid to contractors before May 29. And there is a high probability that Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu may come in and look at that my famous book of reality and decide that some of these projects, as good as they were, should be suspended or cancelled, either because for one reason or the other.
But this is where certain money
and then if that is the case, you see some of the risk we are talking about.
Yeah.
You know, how will that be sorted? How can that be sorted? How can that be resolved? You are already committing, you know, the incoming administration to liabilities and commitments that they don't really need, and to liabilities and commitments that Nigerians don't need. The Abuja-Kaduna Road has been there for God knows how long. Why not complete those projects? Why not focus and deliver those dividends of democracy?
That have reached advanced.
And now you are creating these scenarios. So to be honest, I don't understand why. The only simple logical explanation I can give myself, in order not to cast aspersions at the administration, is that the administration is just becoming overwhelmed by the affairs of the situation, and some people within the government are not really helping Nigerians. Let me not say beyond that.
Okay, in less than a minute, because we have come to the end of this segment, how will you advise the incoming administration to approach the subsidy?
Well, my advice is that the incoming president, I know, as the experienced administrator and leader that he is, will craft a strategy that will enable the removal of subsidy with a minimal negative impact on the populace of Nigeria, based on what he will see in the book of reality. I reckon it will be a phased approach, with 70%, you know, pull out, 30% staggered, as the case may be, subject to what is in the book of reality. It's very difficult to come out with a rule of thumb in this kind of situation, but because the picture on the canvas is not looking good.
All right, thank you very much, Baba Yusuf, for coming to the program, and we thank you for your informed perspective.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, viewers, we'll go on a short break now, and when we return, the conversation continues with another guest. Thank you.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. You will to follow us across all our social platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and watch us live on YouTube. We are now joined in the studio by Khalid Barrow. He is the Senior Special Assistant on Empowerment to Bauchi State Governor Abdul Qadir Bala Mohammed. He joins us to discuss the travels of Governor Bala and how he managed to emerge victorious in the March 18th governorship election, despite what some describe as both national and state collaboration to get his major opponent to win the election. Welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Yes, we're happy having you. Anyway, the elections have come and gone, but how traumatic was the Bauchi State gubernatorial election to you, people in the ruling government, PDP?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's a great pleasure to be in your studio today, despite the fact that I spent the last 15 hours en route from Saudi Arabia to Nigeria.
Yes, you just arrived.
Yes, I just arrived around 2 p.m. this afternoon, and I feel so honored to be here. Well, the traverse in the elections in Bauchi has become a topic of discussion nationally. Looking at the kind of intrigues that happens, you know, the armada of kingmakers who takes the hands of God.
Who are those kingmakers?
Well, I'm sure you know some of them.
Yeah.
We have some former governors.
Yeah.
Former Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives.
Yeah.
And
you're talking
a
about
host of former senators.
Yes. You are talking about, you know.
Yes. Many of them, yes, and some former senators, including somebody who served as an ADC to the governor while he was the FCT minister, Senator Isa Hamamiso.
Yeah.
So there are many of them. Those people have taken the hands of God, thinking that they can do and undo in
Is it an allegation or you
No, it's not an allegation. It's not an allegation. They said it openly. In the media, it's everywhere in the media. You can Google it and you will see it.
Of course, there was a press conference by Wazir Mbauchi, or is it former Wazir Mbauchi?
Yes, former Wazir Mbauchi, yes.
With others who said what they want is to have Air Marshal Sadiq as governor, right?
It's not even what they want. They said they brought in Governor Bala Mohammed, so they are going to remove him. So I thought politics is about people. It's about serving people. I thought politics is a service. So if Governor Bala Mohammed has failed in his campaign promises, then let the people judge him by his actions. But what they did, they have interfered into God affairs.
By saying this is what they will do.
By saying we will remove him because we brought him in. So I'm telling you, when you test God, God will show you that he is supreme. And that is exactly what happens in Bauchi. Governor Bala Mohammed is loved by his people. He has achieved a lot. In fact, within the last 2.5 years, because I always said all this achievement is within the last 2.5 years.
Why are you saying so? Because we are rounding up the 4th year.
Yes. If you look at 2019, immediately after Governor Bala Mohammed was sworn in as governor, between May to November, there was a global outbreak, a pandemic of COVID-19.
Yes.
It has, crippled the global economy. And it has brought a lot of hurdles to government all over the world.
Which you wanted to work.
Yes. So 2019 is just a kind of...
and mostly part of the 2020.
Yes. So he started all this project between 2020, 2021 and 2022. And just look at... I cannot mention the numerous achievements Governor Bala Mohammed has done in Bauchi, because they are just more than to mention.
Okay, now before you mention some, I will allow you to do that. Why do you think there is this so-called conspiracy to remove him? Why?
I think these people have their own myopic thinking. They have their own myopic agenda.
Yeah.
And to me, I know in 2019, yes, We joined forces together with them and fought a government that had failed the state. So we thought they have an agenda to build Bauchi State, just like what Governor Bala Mohammed has in his mind. Looking at his pedigree, somebody who has served, you know, from the state federal civil service, in the cabinet affairs, you know, in the meteorological agency, presidency, to become a director and acting permanent secretary in the federal government, and later on join politics, become a senator, an FCT minister, and become a governor. I thought this man has a bag of experience that everybody would like to have as a governor.
Okay,
and when Governor Bala Mohammed
but beyond the experience, some of these power brokers say that he is allegedly corrupt, and that is why they want him out.
Well, corruption, I think, to me, is a hypothesis. And he also
relates on some of his promises.
To me, is a hypothesis.
Okay, the word corruption, how?
Absolutely. Because now, if, as a politician, maybe I decided to seek for, let me say, a kind of assistance from you, and you decided not to give. Maybe because of some reasons that are beyond my own control. And then you will decide to go out in the public and begin to condemn my policies and begin to condemn me as a person. So I think this is why they keep alleging that Governor Bala Mohammed is corrupt. Now, if Governor Bala Mohammed is corrupt, has he not been tried in the court of law, competent court of law?
Maybe because he has immunity as governor.
It's not about immunity. It's about legacies. It's about what you have done. It's about reality on ground. If Governor Bala Mohammed was found guilty, I'm very much sure he would have been convicted.
Well,
but he was discharged and acquitted. He was discharged and acquitted.
That is so. The cases around him when he started as
of corruption.
Minister,
yes, he was discharged and acquitted. So you can't call him corrupt.
There are some who are saying they are still going back to those cases. Maybe by the time he left the Bauchi government.
Well, that is for God to decide. We don't know what Governor Bala Mohammed will become in the next 4 years again.
Yeah, the other issue is high-handedness. For instance, some are alleging that he rarely accepts superior arguments, and that is why many of his commissioners, about 4 or 5, they left. Special advisors, special assistants, and all that, they all left because he rarely accepts contrary opinion. You are his senior special assistant or a power man.
Well, maybe I'm in a better position to answer this question.
No, that's why I ask you,
let me authoritatively tell you that perfection is an attribute of God. But I want to tell you that Governor Bala Mohammed has never associated himself with failure. So if you failed, definitely he will fire you.
You think all those commissioners that left is because they fell, not of high-handedness?
Maybe some left because they want to go to aspire for another job of their own profession. If I will give you that example, is a commissioner from Ningi, Professor Ahmed Adamu. He is one of the best urban and regional planners in this country. He left because he wants to aspire for something. And again, he was, having a lot of sickness. Today he'll be fine, tomorrow he'll be, things like that. He said he needs to rest. So you can imagine, if now you said all the commissioners have resigned because of spurious argument, because the governor doesn't accept spurious argument, then what about this Professor Adam Mohammed? So I want to tell you that Governor Bala Mohammed doesn't associate himself with failure. I am his aide. And let me tell you that we do argument based on point and fact. You lay fact, you lay evidence, he will accept. That is one thing about him, humility. As a politician, I'm a student of politics. I'm a student of leadership from his own school of thought. I want to tell you that I have never seen a leader
like him.
With humility, so much humility.
Elders, apart from the allegation that he reneged on some promises, you know them, he didn't deliver. He also actually relocated to Abuja, seeking to become the presidential flag bearer of PDP, abandoning Bauchi and its people. What will you say to this?
Okay, I want to give you an assignment.
Yeah.
Ask anybody from Bauchi from 1979, when late Tatari Ali became the governor, till date, there was never a governor, no governor in Bauchi that spends more days in Bauchi State like Bala Mohammed.
So they are only alleging that
these are all political.
Was it from Bauchi that he was campaigning to become the president?
Campaigning. Governor Bala Mohammed will leave Bauchi in the morning and you will see him in the evening.
Going back to Bauchi?
Absolutely.
But at whose cost, Khalid? Because he has to fly.
It's not about at whose cost.
Yeah.
This is somebody who worked in the Federal Civil Service for 35 years. This is somebody who was a senator for 3 years. This is somebody who was once a longest serving FCT minister before the current FCT minister.
Yeah.
So don't you think he has a very large connect of friends all over this country?
That can fund his...
Absolutely. Politics is about people.
Yeah.
Politics is about people. Somebody alone in this country, maybe one of the maybe friends of Governor Bala Mohammed will feel, okay, I'm going to sponsor your transportation from heaven to earth. You understand? So he has a connect of friends.
Meaning he must have a lot of rich friends. Maybe he made them rich when he was FCT minister. He gave them plot of land.
No. It's not about giving them land in the
It's
FCT.
about goodwill?
It's about goodwill. It's about believing in what Governor Bala Mohammed has for this country.
Okay, APC is seen as synonymous with Bauchi, just the way it is with Kano. I'm now talking about Buhari's influence. How did you people manage to defeat APC during the presidential election?
Well, let me cast your mind back.
Yeah.
When President Muhammadu Buhari went to Bauchi for APC presidential campaign rally, Governor Bala Mohammed went to the airport and received him as a president and commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
So he ushered him to the MS Palace, and upon reaching MS Palace, since 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari has never moved in a motorcade in Bauchi until that very day in this 2020
ahead of the
presidential campaign.
2022, yeah.
Yes. So upon reaching MS Palace, did you know what President Muhammadu Buhari said?
I want to hear it from you.
He said, Your Royal Highness, I want to tell you that I know Bauchi before, but it's been long I've come to Bauchi. But if you allow me to come all the way from airport to your palace, I cannot take myself.
Because
of the changes of roads, infrastructural development in Bauchi.
You think he's the only one who did that? Muhammad Abubakar also did quite a number of projects.
If you look at the time frame, just like I told you in the first session of this interview, there was COVID-19, there was global meltdown of resources and what have you. So look at the meager resources that Bauchi State is earning. Look at our internally generated revenue. When we came in, our IGR was somewhere around 300 to 400 million a month. But because of his own magnanimity, today our IGR has risen to about 1 billion naira. So President Muhammadu Buhari has to confess in the presence of all APC stakeholders, all heavyweight APC.
Which people saw like an endorsement of
both in the subnational and the national.
You saw it as an endorsement?
Absolutely.
And has it in any way helped in bringing him back for the second term? That endorsement by
That is
Buhari.
the statement of Governor Bala Mohammed that everybody in Bauchi is a Buharist. So Buhari saying that is a clear endorsement for the good people of Bauchi State that your governor is doing well, so don't allow him not to come back for second term.
Is it not an antipathy on the side of the press?
It's not antipathy. We're talking about good governance. We're talking about laying a solid foundation for this country.
Now, what message do we derive from what happened? Because I know in 2019, when, of course, former Governor Abubakar, right, looking for a second term, the deciding area was Bauchi South.
Okay.
Tafawa Balewa,
Bagoro.
Yeah. And with the help of Dogara, your governor now got it. And this time around, he fought with Dogara, but he was able to succeed. What do you think actually changed the tide? in his favor?
Well, I think what really happened was the kind of achievement that Governor Bala Mohammed has in his government. No local government in Bauchi State, from Alik-Aliri to Zaki, alphabetically, that has no 1 or 2 single projects done by this administration. No local government in Bauchi. Quote me anywhere. My local government is Ningi. I can tell you we have a road. 2 roads were constructed in Ningi.
But we learned that he's one of the governors that actually denied local government chairmen direct access to their money. He said he's going to control that.
I can tell you that if you wish, you can invite one of the local government caretaker chairman, or maybe a former elected local government caretaker chairman, to tell you, to answer this question for you. Governor Bala Mohammed is somebody who believes in bureaucratic process of government. He believes in the decentralization of power, decentralization of responsibilities. As young as I am, as a senior special assistant on empowerment, if I'm to tell you the achievement we have recorded in empowerment, no governor in Nigeria has ever done that.
Are you blowing your trumpet, or you are sure?
I'm not blowing my trumpet.
Tell me just 1 or 2.
Very good.
You think it stands you out?
When Governor Bala Mohammed come on board, he feel infrastructure is not the only thing that Bauchi State needs. There is human capital development. So he come up with the idea of establishing the office of the senior special assistant on empowerment. And he brought me in. And this is a trust, a public trust, that you must deliver it. So on coming on board, we come with an initiative of Kaura Economic and Empowerment Program. Under that program alone, we have taxi drivers in Bauchi. We procured over 150 buses, and give it to them on a revolving fund.
Meaning that when they pay back, you now buy again.
We buy again and we give. The 150 was the first installment. Subsequently, more cars were purchased, more buses were purchased. So in the area of Achaba, Okada. We procured 1,500 keke napeps. We gave it to tricycles. We gave it to Okada people. Again, Governor Bala Mohammed went to Lagos to meet Alhaji Aliko Dangote, president of Dangote Group. That was where he was infected with COVID-19 on traveling to Lagos. Bala Mohammed went to Lagos and met president of Dangote Foundation, and they signed an agreement of a grant. Dangote Foundation donated money to us, over around 200 million naira. We identified women in the rural areas, 1,000 women per each local government. We have 20 local governments. So we have 20,000 women. Every single woman was given a grant, not a loan, a grant, micro grant of 10,000 naira.
Is that enough to change their life?
It's not enough to change their life, but it's enough for them to start a business.
Okay.
Now in the rural areas, you see a woman in her house with just 5,000 naira. In 2-3 months, her husband will come and lend money from her.
Wow. Maybe frying akara.
Yes.
Or doing kuli
or tasu igeda or whatever.
Okay, one area I actually want to ask you question.
I wish you will hear enough about this empowerment.
Well, I will give you more time if we have it, but I want to know how the governor managed the relationship with the State Assembly. When he came in 2019, it was actually APC-led State Assembly. So we expected
we have only 8 members then. And we have 31 members. 8 members from
PDP. I know, that's why I asked. Yes, so
1 member from NNPP and the rest from APC.
So is it that you people boycotted the State Assembly while running the government, or how did it happen?
Well, I keep saying over and over again, Governor Bala Mohammed is a federalist. He's a pure nationalist. He believes in unity and inclusion. He doesn't give room for any sort of discrimination or subchanging anyone. So he has given a level playing ground.
He didn't say that you
not
come back
all.
to PDP or whatever.
Not at all. Anybody who decamped to PDP did it at his own wish. Maybe because of the tremendous achievement we have recorded, and somebody feel, okay, let me join.
So he
this.
boycotted them? You are sure he didn't boycott them?
Not
he didn't
at
boycott.
all. Not at all.
He
Have you ever had any feud between the State Assembly of Bauchi and the governor?
Well, I know he had issue with a lady, right? One of the...
No, it's not Governor Bala Mohammed. He never had issue. During his time, there was never a lady in the assembly. A lady was in the assembly during Isa Iguda. A lady was in the assembly during Emi Abubakar.
From Balewa.
Yes, but we never had a lady in 2019 till date. So Governor Bala Mohammed is a federalist. He believed in inclusion. That was why there was a very smooth transition between the executive and the legislative arm. A very perfect one.
What happened during the last election for the State Assembly? You have
in
2023, yeah.
Absolutely, we did. We sweep it all. In fact, we left APC with only about 8 members. We got 22 members. And one of my friends from NNPP in Jama'are local government, just like in 2019.
Yeah.
What happened in 2019 repeat itself, but now in favor of PDP. We have 22 members, they have 22 members then. We have 8 members then, they have 8 members now. NNPP had 1 member then, they still have 1 member now.
So it's your advantage. Now, one thing that is agitating the minds of many people is the relationship between Kaura and the dethroned Wazir Bauchi of sort. You know, when there was issue, the other time it was Kaura who actually, you know, he resolved the issue. He even took letter, right, of a statement. Of, and the same messenger who took, he has now taken it back.
No.
What went wrong?
No. It's not the same messenger.
How do you mean? Because this was what happened. Yeah.
Very good. When the then administration of Governor Emi Abubakar had issues with Waziri, we cannot authoritatively tell you that it was the government of Emi Abubakar that suspended Waziri.
Okay.
Because they have no jurisdiction to that.
It is, but they can influence the Emirate Council.
It's not about influencing. It's not about influencing. This is an issue of traditional Emirate Council.
Yeah, but you know, governors have so much power.
They have. But I want to make you believe that Governor Bala Mohammed is somebody who have respect for traditional institutions.
Then how did it happen during his tenure and now Waziri was...
Look at his background.
Yeah.
He is a son of a district head.
I know. From Al-Kaliri, I know. I know a lot about him.
So he has so much respect for traditional institutions. In fact...
But he ended up suspending a traditional...
He did not.
Who did that?
It's the Emirate Council.
Do you think any of
you haven't seen the letter?
Well,
that is all over the social media. No. We have to be very honest.
All right.
We have to be very honest. He did not dip his hand inside. This is purely an issue between the Emirate Council and the dethroned Waziri.
But now that he is back in power, do you foresee, because Waziri is, you know, approaching 100 years now, he's over 90, right?
Kaura has nothing to do with the suspension of or removing of Waziri. And I believe he will never had anything to do with bringing him back. This is an Emirate Council purely affair.
All right, finally, how are you going to sort it out now with all those who work against the governor? He has won now. Will he bring them back? Will he reach out to them? In less than 1 minute, I want your take on this. Yeah.
If not because we are naturally, the world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
I can tell you that Kaura is not from this universe.
How do you mean?
Because he is somebody who has a very large heart.
He's forgiven.
He has forgiven them already. And he said it.
You think he can eat on the same table and eat with them?
Absolutely. Why not? They have taken the hands of God. And God showed them that he is the supreme. So at least they should have learned their lessons now. Don't just assume the responsibility of God.
You should not
decide who to live, who to die.
That is your final message, right?
And God shows them.
Nobody should dare God.
I want to give my final statement by saying that...
in less than 10 seconds. We have run out of time.
Governor Bala Mohammed is somebody who loves the youth.
Okay, because you represent the youth.
Absolutely, not only me. We are more than 20 in his administration with very serious portfolios. Yes. Some of us are commissioners, some of us advisors. Like me, I'm a senior special assistant, and I have about 30 of me, senior special assistants.
Okay, that's the lesson for other states.
So I wish Nigerians will see that beauty in him.
Thank you very much, Khalid Barrow, Senior Special Assistant to Governor Abdelkadir Bala Mohammed Bauchi on empowerment. We thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Well, that's Khalid, Senior Special Assistant to Bauchi State Governor. We hope you enjoyed the program, and that's a wrap on today's edition. Thank you for watching. Join us next week for another interesting edition. For now, bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.